Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're going to focus on a couple things here in this video. Number one, Millennial Management is now an over 5% owner of Ape, and they have a very large interest in seeing this court approving AMC's overall initiatives to raise capital and to incorporate Ape into AMC. They are also one of the biggest losers on a day like today, where Ape is down about 10%, AMC is up about 20%, and it looks like the volatility, at the very least, is not over anytime soon. But I think it's very logical that we might get a bigger settlement, or the judge might want more opinions from AMC investors. So we're going to talk about all of that here in this video. On top of that, I want to go over the latest analyst commentary from analyst Eric Wold from B. Riley Securities following the judge's dismissal of lifting the status quo order, the reason AMC is up 20% here on the day. So we got a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section if you have not already. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you also want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. So first things first, let's start with the analyst commentary. So the headline says, latest twist in AMC Ape stock conversion saga, more of a hurdle than a roadblock, says this analyst. The stock conversion is part of the movie theaters company's ongoing battle to eliminate debt, but it has faced court proceedings. And it goes on to say that the two sides asked the Delaware Chancery Court judge to lift the status quo order before deciding whether to approve the settlement. However, in a letter Wednesday, Vice Chancellor Morgan Zern wrote that the parties offer no good cause to lift the status quo order. Quote, this court has cautioned against parties performing even partial settlement obligations before a settlement hearing, as doing so prevents the court from meeting its obligation to oversee class action settlements, Zern added in the letter. But B. Riley Securities analyst Eric Wold believes that AMC will overcome the latest challenge. Quote, we believe this merely represents a hurdle as opposed to a roadblock. Good job. Good job in completing the proposed conversion of Ape units into AMC common stock, as this may represent the only opportunity for the company to both delever the balance sheet and avoid bankruptcy should the exhibition industry recovery take longer than anticipated, Wold wrote in a note released Thursday. Quote, while we are maintaining our neutral rating on AMC, we continue to see positive convergence trades with AMC Ape units and AMC Common as the proposed conversion transaction nears completion. So what this sounds like to me is that even analysts are refusing to face reality that maybe the judge does not entertain this settlement agreement, that maybe either AMC has to come up with something better, more equitable, or maybe this vote was null and void. Maybe this reverse split is not going to happen, and maybe AMC is not going to be able to raise capital, which would be very bullish in terms of getting a short squeeze right away, because you guys got to remember, a lot of shorts are short in AMC that have no business being short in AMC. Small size funds, mid-sized funds, large funds, pension funds, institutional investors. Like some of your biggest names on Wall Street are short on AMC, long on Ape, not because they want anything to do with causing them OS, right? They don't want to be the ones getting squeezed out of their short positions. They also probably wouldn't be long on AMC if or long on Ape, right? Unless this arbitrage trade was not a thing. So you're getting a lot of people that are having a bias here that this is just going to go through, that this is going to happen no matter what, and they're not seeing the risks that are associated here. Once you enter into court, and the Chancery Court specifically, then they're going to make sure that it's an equitable solution for all, that when a couple firms, the Allegheny County Pension Fund and a couple other smaller firms, are supposed to represent the interest of all AMC common stockholders. I think people are vastly underestimating the court's ability here to block this proposal, or at the very least delay this proposal. Now, even a delay in this proposal, when cost to borrow rates are at the levels that they are at, and we'll take a look here in just a second, can mean a lot of damage for the shorts and can be a very big problem. Now, keep in mind, I'm agnostic to this whole thing. I think whether the courts dismiss this whole thing and don't let the reverse split happen, don't let AMC raise capital, I think that's positive in terms of squeezing shorts out of their short positions. Like I just said, a lot of shorts are short in AMC, long in APE, that have no business being short on AMC, and long on APE that otherwise would not be short on AMC. And I think that would cause a mad dash to GTFO out of those short positions, aka would cause the squeeze, and that would be such a big day. I think that would be a 200% day for AMC stock if the judge says this reverse split cannot happen. Like, that's how big of a day I think it would be. I think you would get paid out fat upon that day, and it would likely continue on a rally for quite a bit of time at that point, because considering days to cover, 5.5 days to cover, very large amount. 25% of the float sold short, highest levels that we have seen in really forever, right? At least since this saga has started in, late, mid 2021. So there's a lot of reasons here why I think the shorts are really underestimating the squeeze potential that is here, given the court system. And I don't think it's as cut and dry as people would like it to be, especially even analysts. These guys are supposed to know the risks that are associated here, and they are not. Now, keep in mind, I'm agnostic, like I said, to this whole situation. I think if the courts do go through and let this reverse split happen, I think AMC raising capital has always given AMC a positive reaction, right? Has always caused the stock to rally, and I don't think this time would be any different. And I do think that could set us up for a short squeeze. After all, if AMC is debt-free and AMC has billions in the bank, I'm never going to say that's a negative thing for a short squeeze. Never going to come out of my mouth. So keep in mind, short term, this court situation, the judge saying AMC can't do the reverse split, causes the MOAS. Almost guaranteed. Now, nothing is guaranteed. I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what it would seem to be, right? Pretty straightforward. If the reverse split does happen, maybe it takes a little longer, but it does also crush that short thesis, and in my opinion, give us a short squeeze. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Millennium Capital Management. This is a filing that came out dated for March 30th, 2023. And this is one of those filings that comes out a 13G, which makes you have to report if you own over 5% of a company. And then there's one if you own over 10% of a company. But this is Millennium Management LLC. And this is for SEC use only. They own 49,529,292 voting shares of, guess what? AMC preferred equity units. And that is 5.3% of the total APE units outstanding. Now, how are you going to make an argument that this vote was not cooked when you have these firms, and Millennium, that's just one of them. There's obviously there's a lot of different funds that own a very large amount of APE. Think of Intera Capital that did the deal with AMC to start this whole arbitrage trade. You can't tell me that a court's going to say this was a fair vote when APE shares have the same voting power as AMC shares. Now, like I just said, I really don't care which way this thing goes. I think a squeeze happens regardless of any of it. But still, I think there's a lot more credibility here that the judge is going to want more information. And that's why I want to prepare you guys for the most likely outcome, in my personal opinion, that the judge does not let this reverse split happen as soon as AMC would like. I think there's going to be another court date. I think this gets extended out to June, and they're not going to have an option to settle out here at least soon. And I think if that were to be the case, the status quo would have been lifted. Now, what I think really is raising some red flags to the judge as well, and this is only my speculation, typically, you don't get a settlement paid out in more stock. Typically, that doesn't happen. So I think the judge is going to want more information. And I think when you look at just the holders of APE alone, it's institutional investors. They're the ones to benefit here. It's not putting the common stockholders first. And I think that is very obvious. And I think that's going to come around to bite AMC in the booty hole. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ortex data. Keep in mind, AMC stock all throughout the day today has been about 20% positive, and you are getting cost to borrow max at 1,050%. Cost to borrow average at 878.5%. Cost to borrow minimum at about 8%. Interactive broker short availability has about 15,000 shares that are currently available. 322% cost to borrow rates, with a 25.1% short interest of free float and almost 130 million shares sold short. Something I pointed out in the last video as well that I think is important that you guys probably want to know is the float that is actually out on loan is about 39%. So there's a lot of shares out there that are currently out on loan that have not been sold short yet or could be used to cover on short positions. So I do think at a very short notice in time, like we see here, AMC could be up 20%, could be up more than that, right? There's a lot of fuel on the fire for either direction here. Now, days to cover is sitting at 5.5, which again is higher than any level that we've seen during the June rally or any other time in AMC's couple year history at the very least. I don't know what the short interest numbers used to be in the past, like 2017, 2018, 2019. But as far as this whole meme stock saga goes, these are the highest levels that you have seen across the board for all of these different metrics. And a fun fact here, every time AMC's cost bar rate has been over 1,000%, the stock has rallied. Most recently, it was just back here in February when AMC stock hit over 1,000% cost bar rates. The stock went from $4.50 per share to about $8.50 per share. Now, you hit a low of, where was this low even at? $3.88 per share. Now you're at $4.84 per share and likely to continue on that upward trajectory. And I do think once people start to realize the risk here that they are in short on AMC with the court litigation and the likely postponement of any reverse split or any capital raise, I think gives you more bullishness in AMC. I think that's a very logical assumption to make. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so come to your own conclusions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.